Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, world, and welcome to episode 59 of Ball Don't Lie. I'm your host, Jared, with the Starkster, the Starkey, the Starkinator, the Preaching Hobbit with his old Instagram and Twitter handle he should bring back. But now he's got to be professional.
Yeah, that's a name. To quote the great Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Well, I had an old name I can't say on the air anymore from Xbox name, but I'll say it anyway. Big Cox was my Xbox name. And then I got reported a lot of times back in the old Call of Duty games because I'd be going on a kill streak and then people would report me, or I'd be playing 2K with someone and they'd report me. And so don't hate the player, hate the game. And then at one point I was like, man, I'm just tired of this. I'm getting rid of because dude, I ran out of so many number combinations I liked. I was like 52, 34, 22, 7, 12, 15. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm going just Jared X52 on Xbox. Like, we're going to make this simple.
Yeah.
But not to relish in the past. Starkey, we have a great show tonight. A lot's happened since we last talked about. You got NFL mock drafts dropping like flies. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think it's every day you're having 2 to 3 big names from CBS Sports, Bleacher Report, Walter Football, and ESPN dropping mock drafts every single day. NCAA basketball, we're finally down to the Final Four. Sorry, words are hard today. No, basically only one team we saw being there is there.
Yeah. It's been a wild March Madness.
And then it's a parade inside my city. Quoting NBA Young Boy Forever. Never broke again. But man, we got a great show tonight. I think we're going to jump into it. Starkey, we had some breaking news yesterday. You don't know where I'm starting with this, do you?
I don't really think I do. Do tell.
Okay, well, good. I like to keep you on your toes. Anyway, the Memphis Showboats released their jerseys yesterday.
Yeah.
They're trash. They're the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Like the helmets, don't get me wrong. The little boat, the little old steamboat the riverboat going down the river. That's cool. That's a great logo.
Yeah, that's neat.
The jerseys are garbage. I think you were a small fan of them. You defended it a little bit.
Very, very slightly. But not much.
I mean, it's literally the home jersey is blue with a yellow thing, with a yellow little base color around the shoulder pads. And then the away jersey is white with navy blue around the base color of the shoulder pads. I'm like, what are we playing? NCAA 14?
Right. For our YouTube viewers, here are the uniforms.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're not great.
Like the Memphis Express jerseys were awesome.
Yeah, that they were.
I was just a letdown. I have told myself, though, I am going to make it to a game. I missed out on the AFL. I missed out because it was always 20 degrees or it was 30 degrees and raining. And I think everybody who's been to Liberty Bowl will say that is the worst stadium to go to if it's raining or if it's cold.
Nobody wanted to see Johnny Manziel that badly.
I did. Because they had him mic'd up and he was cussing everyone out. I'm here for it. Johnny Manziel, get him back. Can we get him back in that? If Grady White sucks, can we get... You think Johnny Manziel's got a little juice left?
Nah, he's killing it in the fan controlled league.
He's a team owner. He'll be back though, hopefully. But let's jump into NFL mock draft. So I've been reading a lot lately. It made some news the other day. Old former GM old Tannenbaum dropped a mock draft.
Yes, he did.
This is one I've been seeing more and more, and I have a bet going on with Eric from the B team.
Okay.
Will Levis to the Colts.
I could see it.
I would say in about every mock draft I've seen, it's 90% Will Levis, and then it's 10% either Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson. Here's the thing, I get he's a big boomer bust guy, but I think if you give him time, you surround him with the talent, he's going to be I think he has the potential to be a decent, maybe a better quarterback than what we're giving him credit for.
So, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say he's 6'4", 232 pounds. He threw for 19 and 10 last year. His best year was the 2021 year. 66 completion rate, 2,800 yards, 24 to 13 touchdowns, and 9 rushing touchdowns. But here's the thing: his arm strength. I'd give him benefit of the doubt. He probably has the best arm in this draft.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to read some of his measurables too from the combine. Came in, like you said, 6'4", 229. His hand size is 10 and 5/8 inches. And his arm is 32 inches long. So that big, strong, kind of big-bodied quarterback in Indianapolis. Who does that remind you of?
Andrew Luck.
Who could have been the GOAT?
I still never forget this day. My brother-in-law, and I'm pretty sure Eric did the same thing too. I think the day Luck retired, they all cried. I know my brother-in-law did. I'm like 99% sure Eric cried, and I wouldn't be surprised if either one of them was on suicide watch that night.
I'm not even a Colts fan, and I was upset that day.
I just love how he did it in the middle. It got announced middle of a preseason game.
Yes.
And then at the end of the game, he had to walk off, and everybody was just letting him have it. But hear me out, though. Picture this: Will Levis indoors. And here's the thing: you have time to let him sit for a year and develop. Because I'm a big believer in Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
I think Minshew deserves a chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I agree with that.
Because look at his first year in Jacksonville, 21-6. The next year, 16-5. But here's the thing. His best wide receiver was DJ Shark, a young DJ Shark, Chris Conley, and Keenan Cole.
Yeah.
And his tight end was Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me another quarterback's going to put up better numbers than him? Like
right.
A quarterback in that system? God, no. No. So, hear me out. You take a risk here. You take a Levis. You maybe take an AR-15. I would go, if I'm taking a risk, I'd rather take Will Levis.
Of the two, yeah, I think that Levis is safer than Richardson.
I agree with, yes. But you let Minshew play. You also got Nick Foles. Granted, I think you may cut Nick Foles, but I think you keep a big veteran quarterback to help mold your rookie. Let Gardner play, and whoever you draft, sit for a bit behind Minshew. Because I want to say this for the next show. Name me NFL. Let's go over quarterbacks in the NFL and see who is Minshew better than. Okay? I'm going to say that for next week's show.
All right.
I'm going to write down. But here was a shocker one in it, though. Hendon Hooker.
Yes.
All the way up to 5. Now, that one shocked me the most.
And we were talking before we even started recording. I didn't realize Hooker was even getting a first-round draft grade, period, much less 5 overall. I
had a lot of people putting day 3, day 4 grades. Like, day 2, day 3.
Yeah.
They have Seattle taking him. I'm like, I was telling you when we were doing our run through, that's not a bad spot for him. You gave Geno Smith a 3-year contract.
Yep.
Okay. Year 1, Hooker tore his ACL. Okay.
Yep. So he's still in recovery.
Yes, and here's the thing: granted, modern medicine's phenomenal these days, so he'll be back, if not better than ever. But you still don't want to rush it, and then to learn the NFL offense compared to what he was playing in Tennessee, holy cow! I mean, look at this. At Tennessee, he had 58 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, completing 69% of his passes for right over 53,000 yards and rushing for 10 touchdowns. Put him with DK Metcalf and who is that running back they drafted from Michigan State? What's his name? He went to Arlington.
Yes. Hang on, I'm on it.
Stark, hey, you're supposed to know these things when I put you in the spot like that. What's his name? Is it? What is his name?
Here it is.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker the third, yes.
So you put him with 2 veteran receivers in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and Kenneth Walker. And then you got Noah Fant, who's still, in my opinion, a good underrated tight end.
Yeah.
You could have and let him develop. Hey, you may have a steal there at 5. One guy I have seen taking a big fall is Jalen Carter. Because of the whole reckless driving incident and then his pro day where he weighed in 9 pounds heavier than he did at the combine and he looked winded the entire workout.
Yeah. Less than stellar.
I've seen him fall anyway from being the lock at number 1. Because remember, national championship at the podcast after the national championship after the national championship, we were saying Georgia could be the first team ever to have 2 defensive players or 2 players in general drafted number 1 overall in back-to-back years.
Yep.
And now he's fallen anywhere from, I've been reading 6 all the way to 18. 18 is the lowest I've seen him fall, and that's the Lions.
I was going to say, you have an interesting take on the Lions if he ends up in Detroit.
Oh, if he ends up with the Lions in Detroit, they've got their secondary right. I've seen the Lions are, from what everyone's saying, is a lot getting Tyrese Wilson from Texas Tech. Defensive end. And then Jalen Carter is going to man the middle and be your defensive tackle along with Aiden Hutchinson. And you've locked up your secondary. You got Jared Goff playing some of his best football.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery.
Yep.
You got Amon St. Brown. And then you brought back Marvin Jones. You still need 1 more wide receiver and a tight end. I'm telling you, I think the Lions win 10 games this year.
I can see it. If they address that other receiver and someone that plays Hawkinson, I can easily see it.
So remember, this tight end draft is super deep. Same with the wide receiver draft.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
This is the deepest tight end draft we've seen in a long time.
I do think that the Lions, I think they don't go D-line twice in the first round. I think they'll go D-line once. And then I think they will for sure probably either address the wide receiver or tight end in the room. They don't need secondary. They don't need running back and quarterback. I think you give Jared Goff 1 more year and then say, hey, next year we're going to go for Mr. Caleb Williams or whoever else there is.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the draft? I haven't seen much for y'all because y'all don't have a pick till like day 2.
Yeah. So our first pick is 36 overall. There are a lot of ways that I've been seeing they could go for LA. More than likely will be defensive end. Because from our defense alone, we have lost 12 players. We have signed 2.
We have no salary cap.
Now,
See, I think where the draft is going to get crazy is at 3 with Arizona.
Yes.
Arizona either going to take, from what everybody's saying, Will Anderson at 3, or they're going to say, "Hey, we're trading back. Come get whoever you want."
Hey, Indy, come get it.
Well, see, I don't think Indy would trade up from 4 to 3, but I could see it, Oakland trading up, Seattle maybe. I saw Tennessee taking Anthony Richardson.
That was intriguing to me when you sent me that one, because
They
just drafted Malik Willis.
Well, and Malik Willis when he played this year, he was not good.
That's very true.
And talk about an ugly rebuild. The Titans are about to suck.
Oh,
it's going to be bad.
King Henry's on the trade block.
What they want, it's just like, look at who they have. So in Malik Willis's 3 starts this year, he's 31 to 61 for a 50% completion rate. He's averaging 4.5 yards a completion, 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He has been sacked 10 times, and he's lost 2 fumbles.
Which is about what we thought he was coming out of Liberty.
I just think, I don't know. I was high on him. I just think you look at Tennessee, look what they got. All they got is King Henry. Wide receivers, they got Treylon Burks, who Eric loves, and then they got Nick Westbrook, Ikini. That's all they got.
Yeah.
They have no tight end. They literally have nothing, and they're about to enter a terrible rebuild. They could have had something. They would have kept A.J. Brown, pair him up with Treylon Burks, have a great 1-2 combo.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later on. Let's jump to March Madness.
Let's do it.
This one shining moment is what we're going to be yelling because there's a parade inside my city. FAU, holy cow. The Owls go from having this being their second ever tournament appearance to now in the Final Four.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is incredible.
So here's the thing, I think all the coaching jobs have they're already settled already.
For the most part, yeah.
So if I'm Dusty, man, I'm loving this just because you're moving into the American next year. Mm-hmm. You've taken FAU to as of right now 35-3 for the year. 35-3. Do you know what the last team to go 35 to have 35 plus wins? Who they were?
Who?
Virginia back in 2019 when they won the NCAA championship. So right. That's great for FAU.
Yeah.
FAU has literally, granted they had a cakewalk week game 2. They played FTU, but here's the thing. The Memphis game was the closest game they've had all tournament.
Yeah, that was just 1 point.
And granted, if you get that timeout call, Memphis is winning that.
Yeah, if you get the timeout, you're not there at all. So
right now, the biggest thing to FAU's success isn't their 3-point shooting, like I've told it. It's their winning the boards.
Yep.
They're led by Mr. Vladislav Golden, who is a 7'1", 240-pound Russian center. And let me tell you what. He's a transfer from Texas Tech. That's who gave Memphis all the issues. So when they played Memphis, FAU had 18 offensive rebounds, 21 defensive rebounds for 39. They held Memphis to 36. So they only want the rebound margin there by 3. But they had 5 more offensive rebounds than Memphis.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Fairleigh Dickinson, they had 15 offensive rebounds, 32 defensive rebounds. They held FDU to 44 total rebounds. Won it by 3 there. Against Tennessee, 12 offensive rebounds, 28 defensive rebounds. That's 40. They're winning the boards. It's loading real fast. They out-rebounded Tennessee by 4. Here's the thing. They're winning and they destroyed K-State. 14 offensive rebounds, 30 defensive rebounds. Kansas State, I think, only got, what was it? Kansas State only got 22 total rebounds that game. So, as long as FAU's controlling the boards, hey, I'm going with them. Go Owls. I think they have a great shot to pull up against San Diego State. FAU's a team that relies on the 3-ball.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego State, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. They're the best team in defensive 3-point percentage.
Yep.
Look what they did to Bama. What'd they do to Bama, Starkey?
Shut them down from 3.
Gosh, that was a good game. My brackets. This is probably the worst year I've ever had brackets.
Yes.
So, one sec. Sorry, my computer's lagging. It was just the worst brackets I've ever done. So against San Diego State, Bama was 3 of 27 from 3. Sark, you good at math on the spot?
Typically, no.
Give it to me again. 3 of 27.
I know it's.
That's 11%.
Yeah, just over 10%. Yeah.
They held Brandon Miller, and now they've exposed him because I've been reading some mock draft stuff. A lot of people are worried now because I was talking to you during the rundown about what was Adonis Thomas's biggest flaw in college.
He couldn't create shots for himself.
Correct. Brandon Miller. If you look at all the bad games Brandon Miller's had all year, it's because teams have made him create a shot. He can't get open on his own. If Bama designs plays for him to get open, he's knocking him down almost every single time.
Yep.
But if you're playing great defense on him, get him in a spot where he has to create a shot for himself, it's not going in. He can't create that much separation.
Nope.
Brandon Miller was 3 of 19, 1 of 10 from 3 for 9 points. So I just want to say I love Jerome Tang, by the way. I didn't give him enough credit. He literally, before we move on, he went into the Kansas State locker room and literally said, hey, y'all are the best team we've played all year. Y'all go win it. Literally seconds when FAU celebrating going to the national or the Final Four, he literally goes straight in the locker room and says, hey, congratulations. Y'all are the toughest team we've played all year. Go bring it home. Love that. And look at that. That guy took a team that was supposed to finish dead last in the Big 12.
Yep.
He took a guy who was not even supposed to be playing basketball and that was in a coma 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You think? I know you said you're going with FAU in this one.
Yeah. I guess San Diego State. I'm doing FAU.
Okay, I'm going FAU too. And then we got UConn. UConn is just a powerhouse.
Yeah, UConn is just looking ridiculous right now.
So
they're going to be hard to stop.
In the modern era of sports gambling, only one other team has covered every game as the favorite. Do you know who that team is?
Is it a blue blood?
No, it is not a blue blood. I don't count them as a blue blood.
Who is it?
It is the 2016 Villanova Wildcats, covered every single game as a favorite.
Wow, okay.
So far, right now, UConn has done that. They are just so good. And then the team at the beginning of the year, and this is a team at the beginning of the year. Everybody was like, "Okay, Kim Palm loves them." And I have a Kim Palm membership. I love it.
Yeah,
Kim Palm loved them all year, and I can see why. They ran into a tough Big East, and they struggled at first, and then they figured it out. And holy crap, they're clicking at the right time. And they're probably about to win their third national championship since 2010.
that's great.
I think it'll be. And here's the thing: it sucks. You have FAU playing San Diego State, two teams that have never made it this far ever, playing. Well, they have to play each other, knock each other out. Two Cinderella teams, smaller conference. And then you got Miami, which I'm still shocked Miami's never made. I mean, they've never been a great basketball school,
right?
But it's just the fact it's Miami.
Yeah,
they're one of the biggest schools in money, in illegal money, before it was legal. Go ahead.
Something I just thought about too. When was the last time we talked about UConn in basketball, and it wasn't the women's team? Because you think about it, UConn, the men's team is in the Final Four. This is the first time in a whole bunch of years, I can't remember, that
2014. Yeah, the women's team didn't make it.
Yeah, the women's team didn't even make the Final Four.
So, yeah, I know it's crazy. So that leads us into our next segment in college basketball is if you look at it, what's one thing you notice with all these teams?
One more time.
What do you notice with all these teams in the Final Four? What kind of teams are they? They're veteran teams.
Okay.
They're veteran teams, or they got transfer guys that have been there 2 years, or they're guy like FAU, they've been there for 3, 4, or 5 years. You look at that, look at the teams that have succeeded lately in March Madness. It's been those teams that, hey, we get veteran guys when it matters. We'll take that over young guys we get for 1 year.
Yeah.
I'll take a 2-3 year guy versus getting a one and done. So that's what some schools are like. Like Arkansas, for example. Every year under Musselman, the past 2 years we made Elite Eights, every team we had okay freshmen, but we were killing it in the transfer portal.
Yep.
We were veteran guys who had been there before with smaller schools, or they have tons of college experience. They just haven't played on that big of a stage yet. Look at Memphis.
Yep. I was just about to talk about them for sure.
Penny's first real year recruiting, his first and his third year. What happened?
Number one recruiting
class both years. All right, now he was number 2 last year because you had Duke. You had Duke with the number 1 that year. It was either Duke or Gonzaga. Somebody had we were number 2.
I was number 1 in like a top 3.
But if you look at it, and then look what happened Penny's second year and this year. Mm-hmm. 2 of his best teams were veteran teams. Like you had DJ Jeffries, Alex Lomax. They were second-year veteran guys built into the system. They and experience in the college game. And this year's team, you went and literally got a whole entire team out of the You literally had one recruit. One. Who didn't even play.
He didn't even play.
Who literally entered the portal and no one even knew that. He burned his red shirt playing in one game this year.
And he has a career scored 1 bucket.
Hey, but if you look at that, that's just college basketball is. And you're looking at these schools, they're adapting. Like Gonzaga's been doing that forever. UCLA, that's how they've been thriving. Look at UConn. UConn's team is all veteran guys. That's college basketball is, hey, we're going to hit the portal. Yeah, we want a couple one and done guys here or there. But to have your success in March, going into April, you got to have veterans. Lots of veterans who will play meaningful minutes for you. Right. So, There's been some big guys. For Arkansas, for example, I think next year is going to be a massive year for Arkansas. I've been told by my source, he hasn't listed names yet, but he said they're just waiting on some draft evaluations to come back. But he said there are 3 to 4 guys that you will be shocked that will be back in Arkansas next year. Rumor has it that Trevon Brazile, our 6'10 sniper, who tore his ACL early on in the year, that he will be back. Jordan Walsh will be back. And apparently Nick Smith Jr.'s name is floating around.
Really?
I mean, my dad was talking about that yesterday. I was like, my dad's like, I think he should come back. I was like, I don't. I was like, he can still get his money. Well, so that leads you with Musselman's thing is Musselman's a player's coach because Musselman, like, granted, he wants to win, as every coach does. Right. Musselman's thing is, hey, go get your money.
Get the bag for sure.
Like, I remember the first year on like the COVID year when they were after COVID came back, that 2020-21 year.
Mm-hmm.
We had Justin Smith and Jalen Tate could have come back for. That was when they could have got rewarded for the super senior years.
Yep.
Musselman told them, he said, "Hey, I would love to have you back. I want y'all gone." He said, not because I want the spot, because Musselman would have loved to have those two in last year's team. It's just he said, "Hey, you'll have a chance to make more guaranteed money than ever." And he goes, "You come back, you could have a bad year, could get injured.
Yeah,
go get the bag." So apparently that's what Nick Smith is thinking about because his draft stock has tanked. He went from being a lock at 3 to start the year. I saw him yesterday going all the way to down to 17 in a mock draft to the Warriors. And that killed me.
Yeah.
So
Moses Moody all over again.
Well, no, the Moses one pisses me off more because we could have had him.
Oh, that's true. I just meant going to Golden State.
Hey, at least he got a ring. That's all that matters. That makes me happy. So, some 3 guys I know Arkansas is looking at is Mr. Khalil Ware. He's a center, a 7-footer, former 5-star McDonald's All-American from Little Rock, Arkansas. Went to Oregon. Played in 16 minutes a game, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 block. Biggest knack on him with Allmeyer was his motor sucks. Guy from Rice, which is ironic. We're talking about a Rice, which is super ironic. Mr. Quincy Oliver, he shot 36% on 7 attempts a game. He had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Mr. Denver Jones, who I don't know where this is in Memphis, but he played high school he went to FIU, but he played high school at Memphis Day Academy. I don't know where that is in Memphis, but he shot 37% on 3 on 5 attempts a game, 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. So those are some big guys that Arkansas is going after. And, of course, I love transfer season.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have one more thing I meant to get earlier. So somebody posted the other day on Facebook, and they were talking about what Musselman does. So every year, Musselman has adapted his style to what he lost the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
So like in 2021, we lost to Baylor. He prioritized guards and small ball. So the following year, he got guards and we played small ball, and we forced you to run with us. The next year, last year we got beat by Duke because we were too small. So this year, he literally won, like I said, like episodes ago, we were the longest team in college basketball, and our average wingspan was bigger than all the majority of NBA teams.
Yeah.
So he went and got big and tall and lanky this year. But guess what we couldn't do? We couldn't shoot. So they said this year, Musselman's mindset is, hey, I'm getting shooters. At some point, this is going to work for him. I have faith. Memphis news, I don't have that. We don't know that much yet. We know Penny's been talking to a few people.
Yeah.
The biggest guy I think they're going after is Caleb Love from UNC.
And I've heard that it's going to take a lot to get Caleb Love to Memphis. I'm not I'm not optimistic about Caleb Love, if I'm being totally honest. But news did break today that Mr. Jamar Young Jr. Has re-entered the transfer portal. If you remember, Jamar Young was excuse me, guys. He was the much less heralded transfer from SMU. Scored averaged 2 points a game, maybe 3 rebounds a game. He was our big ticket to get Kendrick Davis. He did not play it all this season, and he is leaving after 1 year.
Well, we only got him because it was a package deal to get Kendrick Davis.
That's right, yeah. So, but for Memphis, keep your eyes on them. Quace Glover.
Where's he from?
He is, if I can find it really fast, he's from Sanford.
Okay,
he is a point guard. I believe he's a 5th year point guard.
Well, see, that's the biggest thing for Memphis. They are need guards because I think Mikey Williams will be good, but he's not going to be your leading scorer.
Yes. So Quace Glover, originally at Florida, played 2 years at Florida, transferred to Stanford.
Hey, I'll take that.
And he is he played at Bearden High School in Knoxville. So he is, he's a Tennessee guy. He was, let me see. This is per Jason Munz. In 2018, Hardaway's final season as coach at Memphis East, his team defeated Bearden in the semifinals in the Class AAA state tournament. So Penny and Glover have a lot of history together. And let's see. The Tigers have a hole in their roster for an experienced point guard, and Glover fits the bill. In 2 seasons at Sanford, the fiery, athletic, 6-foot, 2-time All-Southern Conference selection averaged 17.4 points, 3.5 assists, and 2.7 rebounds in 48 games. He also appeared in 51 games over 2 seasons at Florida as a freshman and sophomore. So all of that is per Jason Munz of the Commercial Appeal. So
hey, we'll take it.
Losing Kendrick Davis, possibly going after Glover from Stanford to replace him. So that would be a really, really big get for Penny.
So I have been telling myself this over and over again. Hey, the American may be a pretty good basketball conference next year.
I can easily see.
Granted, it won't be a top
large teams.
It won't be, yeah. But hey, you're adding the CBI champion in Charlotte, baby. UAB is playing. Unfortunately, sorry, Mitch. They beat your Utah Valley State Dragons last night by 2. So UAB is playing for the NIT championship Thursday night, tomorrow night, and then FAU has a chance for the Final Four. So you have a chance to add 3 winners in one conference next year.
Yeah, when has that ever happened?
Right inside my city. No, it has not happened. But the American will be what the kids nowadays say, bussin'.
Yep.
Before we jump into that, I got a note in baseball real fast. I don't know if you saw this. Since baseball starts tomorrow, I have a baseball fact for you, Starkey.
Okay.
Do you know who will be the 4th highest paid Cincinnati Red this year?
I do know this.
It is Mr. Ken Griffey Jr. He'll be making $3.5 million this year.
Because he and his agents are absolute geniuses.
It's not as good as Bobby Bonilla, but hey, it's a pretty good day. The kid has not played for the Reds since 2008. He hasn't even played baseball since 2010.
Yes.
And he's the 4th highest paid guy on your roster. That is depressing.
Can I say this though? Oh, okay. Fun fact before I get into the thing about the kid. Did you know that, believe it or not, King Griffey Jr. is the first #1 overall draft pick to make the Hall of Fame?
I did not know that.
Yes. Of all the greats to make the Hall of Fame, King Griffey Jr. was the first #1 overall player to ever make the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's because the freaking MLB makes it impossible to get into the Hall of Fame.
That's very true. But growing up in the 90s, I'm not sure there was a cooler baseball player than King Griffey Jr. I mean,
oh yeah, I used to wear my hat backwards in honor of him.
Oh, I still wear my hat backwards. He had a hat backwards. His swing, he has the purest swing of anyone I've ever seen.
Well, you saw him at the World Baseball Classic taking BP one day.
Yeah.
All the players, they were just crowded around just watching, and he was still hitting it like he was back in the day.
Oh, he was just hitting tanks.
You know, his kid played football.
Yes.
At Arizona. He never did anything, but never had a career. But his dad was actually Ken Griffey Jr. was actually a professional photographer. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's actually a professional photographer. Fun fact for you. Anyway,
have you ever? Sorry, I can talk about the kid for a minute because he's just that awesome. Have you ever seen? Sorry, we apologize, listeners. We're chasing rabbits right now. Have you ever seen the video of his dad and him hitting back-to-back homers in the same game?
I have.
Absolutely incredible. First father-son duo to ever hit back-to-back home runs in a Major League Baseball game.
Hey, I love it, and I'm here for it. So let's jump into our next thing. I do have some good news. Okay. Do you not know what the news is, Starkey? Whether you're getting ready to buy or sell your house, get Mitchell James of Porch to Patio Home Inspecting to inspect it.
Absolutely.
Folks, he is looking to inspect homes. He loves it. It's a great second business for him. While he's not fighting fires, he's making sure your house doesn't burn down. Folks, we've been saying this for 50 plus episodes now. Call Mitchell James. We love him on the Ball Don't Lie podcast.
The only home inspector Jared or I would ever use.
Who are you going to call? Hopefully, you never know. He could be buying a house soon. You never know. I actually have a surprise for you.
Okay.
Our last segment is actually sponsored by two people tonight.
Really?
Yes, Tristan Tidmore of Compass Real Estating. If you're in the Nashville area or in the Mid-South area and you're trying to sell, buy, or rent a home, please reach out to Tristan Tidmore of Compass Real Estate Agency. He's one of the best. I've worked with him before. You cannot go wrong with him, folks. Whether you're getting ready, even if you're industrial, if you're looking at for a business, trying to buy a warehouse, anything like that, folks, use Tristan Tidmore for all your home buying needs. Oh, a little shocker there for you.
All right.
And we also do have some good news for Mitchell James. I texted him this, and I've never been so proud of my life as a friend. I texted Mitch that with the Pistons' loss last week, Detroit has secured a top 3 draft pick. His exact quote was, Victor Watanabe, in all caps with like 4 exclamation points.
It could happen, but it could happen.
It can and it will happen. So I want to jump into the NBA right now. So before we jump into kind of what's the playoff scenarios and whatnot, let's jump into the Grizzlies. It's a parade inside my city, yeah?
Yep.
Man, we're killing it. Holy crap.
7-game win streak?
It's amazing. So I was at the game last week with Ja Morant. Came back. Don't know why, but we gave him a standing ovation.
I think people are just happy to see him back.
I mean, I get it. I get we're happy to have him back, but I was like, why are we giving a guy that did something so stupid a standing ovation? Or it's like I was the only guy sitting down my seat. I was there. When my cousin-in-laws invited me, I was like, yeah, we'll go. We went. It was actually on a Wednesday night playing an 18-win team. It was packed at the Forum.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. But let's talk about the Friday night game. Luke, the Nuke Kennard.
The Nard Dog.
The Nard Dog. Franchise
Nasty
record.
Nardo.
Franchise record 10 threes.
Yep.
Do you know who previously held that record?
I heard, but now it is escaping me.
It was Mr. Jaren Jackson Jr. held it with 9 last year against Milwaukee. He took 11 shots in that game. All 11 were three-pointers. 90%. He was over 90% from the field. And all he did was shoot threes. He had 30 points, all three-pointers.
At this point, do we trust Luke to shoot from inside the arc?
Actually, so let me do another thing here in a second. Yes, but I'll get into it. Here's the thing. The guy is shooting at such a high... he's shooting at such a... I'm stuttering right now. He's shooting so well right now. In his past 4 or 5 games, he's shooting 60% from 3. As a Grizzly, he's shooting 55% from 3 on 5.3 attempts a game. Here's the thing. I want that number more.
Absolutely.
I want that number more. And he said numerous times that he's never been on a team so much. Never been on a team somewhere, that wants him to shoot the ball so much. He goes, I've never been on a coaching staff that gets this pissed off when I don't shoot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't care where he shoots. He has the green light. I want him to shoot. And here's the thing. What have we been saying forever with the Grizzlies? We need a shooter. Even from the core 4 back in the grit and grind area to now, you need a guaranteed shooter. We finally have. And you're like, where was this guy back when we had Mark, Tony, Mike, and all of them, and Zebo? Yeah. Where was Luke? He was still in high school, but
right.
You're like, gosh. But here's the thing: people are now. So remember, last year in the playoffs against Minnesota, you know what everybody was doing? Had one foot in the paint, saying, "Okay, Ja, let's go."
Yep.
It's 1 versus 5. You can kick it out, but your people aren't going to make it. Now, you got Luke shooting 5% from 3 as a Grizzly. You can't do that right now. And then you either got Santi out there or David Roddy in the corner, who guess what they're doing? They're knocking down the threes. So when Ja's going to the basket on a screen from Jaren, guess what? If you collapse, go help. You're leaving Luke Kennard wide open, and guess what? He's going to make it. Or you go a little bit, and then you try to go back to try to stop him. Guess what? He can beat you off the dribble, and he's showing he can be a playmaker.
Yeah.
So in Detroit, he was they were trying to make him to something he's not, like a point guard. He's not a point guard.
No.
He is a shooter who can facilitate.
Yes. But he can get
the ball going and whatnot. Now in LA, all they said was, hey, just shoot it. We don't want you anything else. Here in Memphis, I want you to shoot it and then go do whatever, get others involved, because they will crash harder than you outside now. But dude, having him makes life so much easier. And granted, his defense is terrible still, but you win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
I told my dad this yesterday at lunch. I said, hey, when tonight's game, I said, do one thing for me. When Luke is in the game, text me when Jaren or DB is in the game. I said, if you notice, every time Luke is out there, one of them is out there with him.
Mm-hmm.
every single time. And guess who's out there? One of those two.
Yep. Very, very small sample size. Okay, so everyone take this with a massive grain of salt. But did you know that since joining the Grizzlies, his 55% from 3 percentage currently is the Grizzlies' all-time leading 3-point percentage leader.
See, I knew it was up there. I didn't know if it's the highest, but just
Desmond Bain is second with just under 48%.
Just the fact that, like, look at how much the fan base has loved him.
Yes. I don't remember who it was. I take that back. Chris Vernon said,
"Oh, look at you getting back into Verno. Proud of you."
It's been a long time since we have had a player come in that is acclimated this quickly. And it feels like Luke has been a Grizzly for way longer than he really has been.
He's a great interview. He's been in the league a while. And here's the thing. I told you it would take him a little bit to get in the... Remember, I was mad the Boston game that he only shot the ball twice.
Yes.
And now he shoots it 5-6 times a game. I want him to shoot 10, 20.
Yeah.
Probably. I want him in the 10 range at least.
Yeah.
But I do want Jaren some stuff. We're getting that in a second. But keep shooting it, Luke. With this right now, the Grizzlies making the threes at this high of a velocity.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. You may have something.
Yeah.
You got him on contract for, I think, 2 more years. Keep him. Keep paying. Get some more stuff going. You're going to be just fine, Memphis. All we need is a shooting wing who's more... I don't know. We'll get to that in a second about DB. But
it's a decent wing.
So let's jump into... If we get a wing, holy cow.
Yeah.
So let's get into Defensive Player of the Year. Because now it's changed. Per FanDuel, Brook Lopez is now the lock-on favorite at -230 to get Defensive Player. And what pisses me off the most is he's not even the best defender on that Bucks team.
No, he's the 3rd best defender on his own team.
Giannis, True Holiday, and then
Lopez.
Yes. So Jaren's played in 58 games this year. He has 177 blocks as of last night. That ties him with his record set with his lead leading block total from last year.
Mm-hmm.
While Brook Lopez has played in 15 more games, only has 7 more blocks.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All they're doing with Brook is just literally putting him in the paint.
Yep.
And they're just they're pushing everything to him. That's the reason why. Jaren, on the other hand, is literally guarding perimeter guys day in and day out. I mean, remember that Dallas game? One of the Dallas back-to-backs? He was guarding Kyrie in the final minute of the game out 30, 40 feet away from the basket one-on-one.
Yep.
Kyrie, who has some of the best handles in the NBA history. And Jaren shut him down. Just saying, that's my Defensive Player of the Year. If I got to vote, I think Jaren will win. I think the voters will take in the fact, yes, he has played in less games than Lopez, but look at what he's doing. His block rate is 10%. It's been the highest in the NBA since in the mid-1980s when Manu Bol's dad was 7'6", just roaming the paint with his arms up in the air. Ja's come back 2 games off the bench. He basically said, hey, I want to come off the bench. I don't want to ruin chemistry. I'm going to ease my way back into it.
Which he's good for him.
He's taken over lately. He's starting to get back in a groove. I don't anticipate him going out and dropping 50 in one night, but hey, maybe tonight's the night he will, because we'll get into this tonight in a second.
Yeah.
I do have some big concerns real fast before we get into some games real fast.
Okay.
I'm scared, man. We have no front court.
Oh, no.
Like, with Adams out and BC out, BC's done for BC. So BC's done for the year. But all you have in your front court is X, Jaren, Asante.
Yep.
You're anticipating Adams to be back next week, first round of the playoffs. But here's the thing. He hasn't played in a game in 2 months. He's going to be out of shape. He's not going to be ready to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think it'll take him too long to get back acclimated, but I don't think we should expect him back, put up 20 offensive rebounds in his second game back.
So don't get me wrong, X, he's a big man at heart. He is your backup center at heart.
Yeah.
Chris Harrington tweeted it yesterday, last night of the game. He goes, if this was the 1980s and Tillman was 6'10", or if he was 6'9", what he is, or he's 6'8", he was 6'10" minimum. And back in the 80s, he'd be a 10-year vet, if not one of the best forwards in NBA.
Yeah.
Last night, he had a career high 20 points. Dude, I love X. I think I'm so happy for him. I'm also kind of worried just because we're going to be able to keep him this offseason. But do you use your money to not sign a wing? Bring back Dylan?
I think you have to trade for a wing and then you sign. I think you bring back X with the MLE and then you trade for a wing.
I don't know if X is worth a mid-level exception, though. But so one thing that scares me going to playoffs, even if you get Adams back, is Jaren's going to have to play 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Can Jaren stay out of foul trouble those 40 minutes a game? Because we've seen the good Jaren this year of him staying out of foul trouble. But you saw last night, it scared me in seeing him getting dumb fouls, grabbing jerseys, literally reaching for the ball with under a minute left in a quarter.
Yeah.
Dumb reach-in fouls. I will never get mad at Jaren for contesting a shot. I will never, never, never get mad at him for contesting a shot. It's his fouls away from the basket that I get mad about.
Yeah.
Because then he gets in his own little head, and then you're like, crap, there goes Jaren. So last night you saw, for example, it's not good when Jaren's not out there. Because you're going to roll X and Santi. That's a terrible lineup there.
Yeah.
If you look at Santi's not a rebounder. He's not a big. He's not a guy he's a 7-footer, but he's not going to man the post.
He's a 7-foot shooter.
He's a 7-foot shooter.
He might as well be a 7-foot wing.
Who can slash to the rim.
Yeah.
He's definitely not a defensive anchor like Jaren or BC or Steven Adams.
No.
X is small. You know X's limits.
Yeah.
But you only got 2. You only got 3, and then you hopefully get Adams back. But it's not good with Jaren being out. So tonight we got some breaking news, like about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Grizzlies announced the injury report.
Yeah.
Jaren out, Bane out, everybody's freaking out. They only have 9 guys tonight on the roster.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the box score right now. We are currently down by 6 to the Clippers at halftime. We do have 9 guys available. 2 have not entered the game. Our leading score right now at halftime. Have you seen any of the stats?
Yeah, it's DB.
DB, yeah. DB is currently leading with 19 points. Ja has 14 points. Is 4 of 12 from the field.
So you got Bane out, Jaren out, and Tyus Jones out. Now I get it. You're trying to save your guys for the final stretch of the games. And here's the thing: you're getting beat by Russ.
Yes,
Russ has got 22, and he's 4 of 4 from 3. Kawhi's not even playing tonight. So
no,
the Grizzlies will come back. I promise you, they'll come back. Ja will take over here soon. I feel like that. I have a gut feeling we may come back and win this, but you have a chance to extend your lead. The Kings have an easier remaining schedule than you.
Yep.
If I'm the Grizzlies, I am literally doing everything in my power to secure the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Everything in my power. Right now, the Kings have a 47 strength of schedule. The Grizzlies have a 52.4% chance. The Kings have left to play. They have to play the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Pelicans, and they got to play the Spurs, the Trailblazers twice, who are literally in full tank mode. That's 2 teams. That's 3 wins there, and then the Mavericks. So you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Whilst the Grizzlies, you got Bucks. That's a 50-50 game. Clippers, I think you split this series.
I think so too.
Pelicans, I think you win there.
Yep.
Trailblazers, that's a win.
Yep.
OKC, it's a tough win there at OKC in the season home stretch, and then Chicago. And Chicago scares me because you don't know what Chicago's going to do.
Yeah, you don't know what you have with Chicago, but I think that could be a win.
So if I'm Memphis, I'm doing everything in my power to get the 2 seed locked up because I want to avoid Golden State at all costs until the second round.
Yes.
Granted, this isn't the Golden State teams to pass, but I don't want the stress on my heart.
I don't want to have to deal with Draymond Green any more than I have to.
By the way, can we talk about that guy can literally get away with murder? He literally kicked Troy Murphy last night in the face.
In the face, yes. And then nothing happens.
And then
you see him. Sorry, go ahead.
But he sparked a rally, and the Warriors came back to win.
Yeah. But then he gets in the refs' faces. And last night, I don't remember what led up to this, but he starts yelling, how? And even the announcers are saying he needs to watch himself because one more tech and he's suspended.
Well, he got a 17th tech last night.
Well, I think is he suspended for one more game or is it 18?
So after 16th, yeah. So it's every 2 after 16. So every 18, 20.
Yeah, okay. So one more technical and he's suspended.
So, but look at Luka. The NBA is doing everything in their power to get Luka and Kyrie into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They rescinded that technical when he literally told the ref, F you.
Yeah.
He literally told the ref to F off.
Yeah.
They tee him up. And then he rescinds it. And Jaren gets teed up last night for literally throwing his arms down and laughing. Gets teed up. And then, luckily, the NBA rescinded it today, but you're like, really? And then the one from Sunday pissed me off the most.
Yeah, they need to look at the one from Sunday as well, but I
they've already did it. They're not because he was slapping the floor that bad. So Sunday, gosh, massive block on John Collins. Beautiful block. Ended up they called a foul. Jaren slapping the floor. They tee him up, and then Jenkins is arguing because Jenkins doesn't want to waste a challenge with literally 30 seconds left in the second quarter. But you risk getting your power forward his third foul. Should challenge it, overruled. But guess what? The technical still count.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a great. I think every team has 5 to 6 games left, and right now, from the 5 seed to the 11 seed, is 3.5 games.
Yes.
You got Clippers, Warriors, Pelicans, Lakers, Thunder, Mavericks. Now, here's the thing, folks. I wouldn't be shocked if somehow the Thunder go on a losing streak. They don't make the playoffs.
Right.
Or the playing game. And the Mavericks make it just because the NBA doesn't want to lose out on money from overseas.
Yeah.
Because Europe is going to watch, the world is going to watch Kyrie and Luka.
Yes.
Now, if I'm Memphis, Starkey, add the play-in teams out of the Timberwolves, Pelicans, Lakers, and Thunder right now. What is one team you don't want to face?
So I was looking at this earlier. Give them to me again of the play-in teams.
Thunder, Pelicans, Lakers, and Timberwolves.
Of those, I guess the team I wouldn't want to see the most would be the Timberwolves. And even then, I would be comfortable facing them.
Mine would be the Lakers because you're not going to get the calls.
That's very true. I didn't think about that.
Granted, we won't play unless the Lakers get on a heater.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll end up seeing the Lakers, which
I don't think so either.
I'd be happy with, but I just don't want to face LeBron in the playoffs, not because I'm afraid, just because I know they're going to get every call.
Yeah.
The team I'm comfortable playing, I'm fine with the Timberwolves because I feel like we can play Rudy Gobert or Cat off the court.
Yeah.
And then the Thunder, I think the Thunder would be a good matchup. It'd be a fun one. Now, hear me out. If the Thunder make the play-in game, does Chet Holmgren make his season debut?
I don't think so. I think they hold him out for next season.
Now, if you're the Pelicans, you make the play-in game, do you bring Zion?
I don't think New Orleans would have a choice. I think that fan base would absolutely riot if Zion did not play in the.
Zion is cleared to return to basketball activities next week.
Yes.
The last week of the season. Do you bring him back for the playing game? Or do you say, hey, shut it down for the year, let's rest, let's get you ready for next year? Because he's had an injury-riddled career.
Yeah. I think if you're in New Orleans, I think you have to bring Zion back.
I don't know. See, I'm the opposite. I say, hey,
of the noise that you're going to hear if you don't.
I say you got to let him rest. He needs it. His body is not fit anymore. His body's dying on him, basically.
Yeah.
His ankles, his feet, his legs are dead. He's still got explosion, but it's just his bones.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. Grizzlies, I know you said earlier today you see us going 5-2. Mm-hmm. I see us anywhere going from 5-2 to 4-3.
Yeah.
If you win tonight, I think you'll have all the starters back on Friday night, minus Steven Adams. Hopefully get a dub there without a Paul George-less Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And you hope the Kings lose another game. That way you lock yourself in at the 4 or at the 2, and you cement yourself in home court advantage for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Yep.
Because right now every team is trying to from that 6 to 11, they're trying to get the 6th seed. Because they want it's not because of the playing game, it's because they all want Sacramento. They want an inexperienced playoff-less Sacramento team. Shout out to Cleveland, by the way. Clinched their first LeBron-less playoff series. Do you know since when? Or playoff berth, sorry. I said series.
I'm going to say 20... I don't know.
I need to guess, Starkey. I don't know. It's not an answer. It will shock you a little.
He left in 13.
When was he drafted, though, Starkey?
He was drafted in 2003.
Okay.
I'm going to say... I'm going to say late 90s.
Late 90s is correct.
Wow.
1998, 8 to 1999 was the last time they made the playoffs without a Mr. LeBron James.
Good for the Cavs.
Shout out to JB Bickerstaff.
Yes.
So we're going to start a new segment probably every week now. It's called the Mount Rushmore.
Let's do it.
This week, in honor of Luke Kennard, we are going to do best Grizzly shooters of all time on the Mount Rushmore. Basically, we're going to give 5 apiece, or we can just, I don't know. I haven't discussed how we're going to do it, but anyway, I think we have a lock here, Mr. Desmond Bane.
Yep.
This year alone, he's shooting 7%. He's shooting 7 threes a game for 40%. In his career, Starkey, he is shooting 42% from three on 6 attempts a game.
Mm-hmm.
His number every year gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think Desmond Bane is a lock.
I agree.
On the Grizzlies' Mount Rushmore of shooting, correct?
Correct.
So what we'll do is we'll go through the lock, because I don't know who you have as a lock. I'm guessing. And then we'll go the 2 or 3 oddballs we have in there, okay?
Okay.
The next one, Luke Kennard, lock.
Okay. I didn't have Luke on here.
Whoa! Even though it's a short time, Starkey.
Just because it's been a short time.
I have him as a lock.
I didn't want people to accuse us of recency bias.
I'll be a recency bias. I could care less. Luke Kennard is mine. He's, like I said earlier, he's shooting 55% from three. Luke Kennard's made it. He's got the purest shot I've ever seen. Okay. Maybe the next guy we have the same. Mike the Killer Miller?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, you have 33. Okay, good. Mike Miller as a Grizzly, when 3-point shooting wasn't as hot, shot four threes a game, 42% from three. Made a lot of clutch shots. Great shooter, great form. One of the best underrated 3-point shooters in NBA history.
Yep.
The next one I think we have in common. The captain, the conductor. Mike Conley. Okay, yes. Might play. Gosh, I will never forget him hitting those clutch shots in the playoffs over the Spurs and the Thunder when he drained that like 40-footer right over Russ. Gosh, I still get goosebumps. The forum was going crazy that day.
There's a reason his nickname was Captain Clutch.
Mike as a Grizzly shot 4.1% from three on 38%. And here's the thing: even then, this is all before, like, with Mike Conley and Mike Miller, 3-point shooting wasn't a delicacy back. It wasn't as common. It was, hey, big man basketball. Yeah. At the end of Conley's career at the Grizzlies, it was, hey, shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
But up till then, with Mike and with both Mikes, it was, hey, feed it to your big men, let them go, and then if y'all shoot it, you shoot it. My next guy, just because he had one of the best, he was a shooter. That's all he was. Troy Daniels.
Okay, I should have put Troy on here, but I forget about Troy sometimes.
Troy Daniels was a 2K god for me back in the day.
The thing
he was green light every single time with him.
The thing I love about Troy Daniels is, shout out to Amara Baptist, who used to be the Grizzlies social media director. Every time Troy would make a three, it would be TR fire emoji Y.
Well, the thing with Troy is, they said, I remember listening to Chris Vernon show when he was here, they said, like, with JB and all of them, they used to have to do like 100 shots around the little NBA arc, and you used to have to mark how you did, because that was when who was it? It was Dave Yeager, I think, was his coach. He was here with Yeager. Yeah.
He was here with Dave Yeager.
He was here with Yeager, and that was part of the Yeager thing. He wanted you to, because Yeager made Mark a 3-point shooter, Zebo started shooting it, all that stuff. He wanted to space it out. So they said, Troy Daniels, you take 100 shots. They said Troy Daniels would make 99 out of 100.
Yeah.
Granted, and you couldn't play him on the court because he was that bad on defense. He was 6'3", but man, he could shoot the lights out of a gym. So I know there's only 5 on Mount Rushmore, but I have an honorable mention, and it's controversial. Oh, who did you have? Sorry.
So we agreed on Conley, Dez, and M33M. I do have one more and an honorable mention as well.
Okay.
So my number 4 is Mr. Jason White Chocolate Williams.
I didn't know White Chocolate was a shooter.
Let's see.
I know in the playoff time he never showed up because that's why him and Calkins used to always get into it.
Jason Williams all time is. I recently had it. I'm so sorry.
I got it for you, Starkey.
Okay, right here. Let's see. Yeah, Jason Williams is number 4 in Grizzlies history with 500 made threes.
Do you want to take a guess at what his percentage is?
I know it's not great, seeing as how he attempted over 1,500.
His 3-pointer percentage as a Grizzly was 32%.
Okay, see.
As a Grizzly, he averaged 5 threes a game and made 32%. Oh, it gets better. Now, see, that's a bold one, and I love it. However, in the playoffs, though, Starkey, he shot 5 threes a game. He played in 8 playoff games with the Grizzlies and shot 38% from the playoffs on 5 games. So I guess maybe he was better in the playoffs. I guess big-time players make big-time plays.
Yep, that's it.
So we had.
Go ahead.
So you had Bane, Mike Conley, Mike Miller, Jason Williams, and who else?
And my
there's 5 on Mount Rushmore.
See, I thought there was 4 for some reason.
I think there's 5.
There are quite a few guys ahead of him, but just for the sake of...
Yes, there's 5. So this would be your...
Okay. He currently is number 9 in Grizzlies history in 3-point percentage made. I don't know his percentage. Probably horrible. But Mr. Shane Battier.
Big clutch Shane hit the game-winning shot in our first ever playoff win. Yes, that is a good one. In Shane's 6 seasons with the Grizzlies, he shot 2.5 threes a game for 38%. And in the playoffs, he shot, Shane. I thought he'd be better in the playoffs, 28%.
Oh.
Oof. Now, Shane was the ideal role player.
He was.
I love Shane.
Knew his role, yes.
So, my honorable mention is OJ Mayo, just because I loved OJ.
Oh, what could have been.
He got screwed because he didn't have a position.
No, he didn't.
They tried to make him a point guard his rookie year to play along Mike, and then they said, "Hey, you're 2, then you're back to 1." If they would have paid him to come off the bench, we could have had a freaking dynasty. As a Grizzly, he shot 37% from 3 on 4 attempts a game.
There's one thing I hold against OJ Mayo that is absolutely not his fault. The reason I did not like OJ Mayo in Memphis is because on draft night we traded Kevin Love for him.
Yeah, but if you didn't trade Kevin Love. Okay, well, if you do that, you never would have had Z-Bo.
That's very true.
And who knows if Mark makes that progression?
That's a good point as well. I hadn't taken that into consideration.
Because remember, we got Z-Bo that night in the trade. We got Z-Bo that night in the trade.
Yeah,
with the Clippers for Quentin Richardson, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So hey, I love Kevin. I obviously could have kept him a little, but hey, OJ was solid those first 2 years. He was averaging 18 points and then 17 points his first 2 years in the league, and then dropped down. He just couldn't stay away from the drugs.
Right.
He's one of the only guys that ever gets suspended permanently from the NBA.
Yep.
For hardcore substance. No one to this day has still said what it was.
To this day, I'm not sure anybody knows where he is.
He's playing like overseas somewhere.
Because he was like doing African safaris at one point or something.
OJ Mayo is playing the Egyptian. He's playing for the Samalak. He's playing for Samalak. They're in the Egyptian Basketball League.
Interesting.
Let me see. On his team, do you remember DJ Strawberry?
Yeah, I remember the name.
He played at Maryland. He didn't really do anything in Maryland. He was more of a college guy, but yeah, he plays with OJ over there. Before we end the show, shout out to the Memphis Hustle. They have their first ever playoff game on Friday.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I will not be there because the G League screwed me.
Really?
Yeah, they did it on Friday during the day.
Oh, true.
So the game's at 11. Fun. The game's at 11 because the Grizzlies play that night in the Thorn. Now, apparently, if the Hustle would have won both their games last week, they would have got the 1 seed and played on Thursday. But nope, we got Friday because we sucked last week. You know how much tickets were? $10.
Oh, yeah, I knew they're dirt cheap.
Hey, you shut your mouth. We love the Hustle in this house.
Oh, we do love the Hustle. I'm just saying, it's a great
I thought you were throwing a jab at him. And then, you know how much floor seats were? $25 to sit on the floor. My Hustle rep messaged me today, asked if I wanted the floor seat. I said, no, I can't take off work. I love the Hustle, but I'm not going to cash in a vacation day to go to watch the Hustle.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move.
I'd love to, but I'm not. That's going to conclude us for tonight's show. I'm going to end it with one final thought. Kanye West now loves Jewish people again. Shout out to Kanye. You know what he credits this for?
Mr. Jonah Hill on 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, Jonah Hill has proven to Kanye that he can love the Jewish people again. So does this mean I can wear my Yeezys again and not get criticized, or should I keep them in my closet?
Just keep them in the closet.
I'm probably going to wear them tomorrow. Folks, we'll be back better than ever next week. Y'all stay safe, stay classy. Once again, I do apologize for last week's show. I downloaded the wrong episode last week, and that's why I got posted 2 days. Yeah, I downloaded the 57 versus 58, and then Eric texted me and was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, stupid me." And then I went to the game on Wednesday night, and then I had to do it Thursday morning. Yeah, being a dad's fun. Yeah, you know, what is sleep? Whoop, whoop.
Hey, for real quick, guys. Sorry, Jared doesn't know I'm going to do this. Continue to pray, if you do, for the victims, the tornado victims in Rolling Fork, Silver City, Amory. They need all the love, support we can give them right now. And then also keep the victims of the families of the Nashville Covenant School shooting yesterday in your prayers as well. Really, really rough time in Nashville right now. So any support, love y'all can give them, I know they'll definitely use it as well.
Amen to that, Starkey. Well, folks, we will see y'all next week. We gone.